Welcome to this presentation on the EUCAIM platform. In this demonstration that I will going to show now, shows the basic functionality of the EUCAIM platform mainly for data users. The target of the platform and the target of the demonstration is mainly for data scientists who use the data to develop their own tools, develop AI models, and the rest. However, we will not require any ICT knowledge for understanding the demonstration. So let me first very briefly introduce how we deal with data in the context of EUCAIM. So EUCAIM deals with data that already exists. That's what we call the Atlas of Cancer Images, which is on the right side in green. And what we aim there is to have a registry and some kind of federation tools to manage the access to a set of existing data from different data holders, projects, and research infrastructures. On the left side, in the orange side, we will see the part of the new observational studies that we'll conduct to collect additional data that will create data sets on demand. And this is more like in the way that the European Health Data Space will perform. If we focus on today's demonstration, we will show the user journey for the Atlas of Cancer Images. That starts from the data discovery, which is basically to understand which data is available in the platform at the level of the data sets, and more precisely at the level of the cases that fulfill some special criteria. Then, once that a data set is identified as potentially relevant, we will ask permission to access these data sets, because the access to the data in EUCAIM is not freely available. It's available upon request and upon submission of an application that fulfills the ethical and the scientific criteria that we consider. Then we will adjust this permission, and we will then show how to access the data in a friendly way. A more detailed video on the secure processing environment is also available. So let's go directly to these steps that will be the outline of the demo, and we will start from the dashboard that is the entry point to all the services in the EUCAIM platform. So for this purpose, I will start there. So this will be the place in which a user will land, searching for information about EUCAIM. So as you can see, this is unauthorized, so anyone can access this part and can see a summary of the data that we make available. This is a dynamic summary that it is computed at any time. So you can see that there are several data sets. You can see the amount of data sets that have modalities like, for example, magnetic resonance, or the body parts that are addressed. So we can explore the public catalog. Then we can go here, and then you will see the different data sets that we have in the platform. So you will see that there are many data sets, and you may, let's consider that I'm a researcher looking for MRI studies for pediatric imaging, right? So for example, in these imaging modalities, I will select magnetic resonance as the point that I wanted to, my interest, and then I realize that there are many data sets that contain magnetic resonance imaging information. But I don't know exactly how many cases each one of these data sets are of magnetic resonance, and more precisely, how many of them correspond to pediatric subjects. So for this, since I see that there are potentially information of interest, I will go to show how to become a member of this EUCAIM platform. Becoming a member basically goes to this part. So first I will have to check, becoming a user, what will request. So this is what we provide. This is what the steps for becoming a member. So especially there's one document that is available there that gives you the instructions to create an account on EUCAIM. Accounts in EUCAIM are free, but are analyzed individually to ensure that they correspond to the bound to the our access user policy. So for this demonstration, I have already an account created. The accounts are validated with your own institutional account, with your own institutional provider. So it means that in my case, that I am a university professor, I will use the same credentials as I use at my university. For this purpose, you go to my profile and you will go to the registration, but I already have an account prepared for that. And this is the name of the user that is requesting the data. You can see that now other applications appear on the top, and the one that we will explore now is the federated query. Federated query is the application for searching for data according to a specific inclusion criteria. So this is consulted dynamically across the federation. It's important to outline that EUCAIM is a federation. It means that we don't host the data centrally. The data is hosted by the different providers, and we provide through this tool a way to consult the data that all these providers are exposing. Not all the data is available at this level, at the level of the searching, because we have in EUCAIM a level of compliance of 3 layers. Level 1 is data is registered in the catalog that you have just seen. Level 2, data is searchable, can be found in this environment. And level 3 means data can be processed. So if I search for all the data that is available there, you see that the number of providers are increasing. It means that it is dynamically collecting the information from each one of the providers that we have in our federation. So from the 4 providers that are connected in this federated, you can see the amount of studies and subjects. So let's consider that I am looking for magnetic resonance imaging. It means that from the studies that are there, we will select, would like to know how many of them correspond to magnetic resonance imaging. So I click on search and I get the information from the different provider. And you have seen that from the 700 studies, we go down to 300 studies, which are exactly those that correspond to magnetic resonance imaging. Okay, and we have 8,000 here in pro-cancer, which are related to prostate imaging. But the second condition that we wanted to add is that I am looking for pediatric subjects. So let's put as another restriction that the patient, the age at diagnosis was 15 years old at the maximum, right? So we put this criteria and we search again. And then the information according to this criteria is shown, right? So then the providers, some of the providers will take a little longer because you have to understand that this information is dynamically retrieved. So the query is forwarded to all the providers. It is adapted to the specific data format of each one of the providers, and then the information is collected and refreshed back. With the information that I have at this moment, I can see that the number of studies and the data set that has more studies of pediatric subjects with magnetic resonance imaging is pre-match neuroblastoma that has 210 studies. So I consider that this is of interest, so I will request access to this. As I told you before, access to the data is not open. You have to submit an application. So I will click on it. I will go back again to the catalog specific page of this dataset, and I will start requesting access to this dataset. So I will add this to my shopping basket, I will say, as an example, but it is actually not a shopping, not buying. I'm just simply adding to my interest list, and I will request access to that going to another of our services, which is Negotiator. The Negotiator is a tool in which I add all the information for submitting the proposal of application for the data. So let's go next, and I will start providing all this information. It's important also to understand which information we ask to the researchers for accessing the data. First, a title. I will call you Demonstration 2025, for example. My details as IP or the details as IP. An institutional letter of approval, it means that all the users that access this platform need to have a letter from their institution that enables them to do this research, because for the regulations, we have to guarantee that the institutions support the activity that the individuals do. So I will go and get some institutional letter, the list of partners that you have in this application, because the permit can be extended to different people, a cover letter that explains summarizes the outcome or what I wanted to get, the hypothesis that I would like to verify, the objectives of my study, the materials. That's very important because we are providing not only data, but we are providing also tools and computing facilities. So you will be able to request there an amount of computing. If you don't know, you can explain what you want to do, and we can come back with the expected resources that you will need. Then the expected results that you will get, expected results, and the timeline. Also, timeline is very important. We would like to understand in the period that these resources will be made available to you, right? So timeline, that basically will be at the period of time in which you will conduct the research. Additionally, we ask that you provide an ethical approval for the experiment that you want to conduct, right? And this ethical approval has to be added to this list. And finally, along with any additional support and information that you would like to add, also it's important that if the research that you want to conduct is supported by a project, an approved project, that will add additional credibility and will be considered positive for the evaluation of your request. So you can select if you have funding. In this case, I will say no, and I will not upload the corresponding file, right? So this is the application, and then we will submit this request. So I confirm, I make the submission of this application. So then I enter in the situation that my application is under review. It means that it has reached the Access Committee, and then the Access Committee of EUCAIM will evaluate if this proposal is valid according to their principles, right? So we can go to negotiations, and you can see that it is under review. So let me go and change my hat, and now take the hat of the Access Committee Secretariat. And I have another window here that has the list, that has been already logged in with the credentials of a user with that correspond to the Secretariat of the Access Committee. And I have seen that I received a new request. This is also supported by a mailing system in which I have a new demonstration, a new application that is called Demonstration 2025 under evaluation. So I will get all the details, I will discuss with the Access Committee, and finally, let's assume that I receive a positive answer to this request, and I will approve as Secretariat of the Access Committee. It doesn't mean that you have access to the data yet. It means that your application is valid. We approve, confirm the application, and then if we go back to this page, as this was the one from the researcher, you can check that this changed from under review to in progress. In progress means that now this proposal will be evaluated. Has been evaluated, and now the contact with the data holder is being performed, because we also are flexible with respect to our federation. We contact with providers that are from different countries with different types of regulations, and therefore they are not exactly the same access conditions. And we pass all the applications to the individual that has manage the data holder. So let's assume again that on the side of the data holder responsibility, and then I receive one request of accessing one data set that is called I can check it there, that is the neuroblastoma, right? And then I will go through a process of checking if the application is valid, that the data that they request is still valid, because you may also add additional information or clinical variables that you would like to have, and therefore the data holder should be contacted to see if they can gather this information. And let's assume that this application is approved. Then the responsible of the dataset will mark as result made available. Of course, there will be a previous step in which the access conditions will be signed by the data user, right? So the data holder will send the access conditions, and the access condition will be signed by the data holder and returned through this application. So let's assume that we make resource made available. I confirm. And to facilitate the access, I will copy the access link to this dataset within the in a message. So I am the one managing the system, and I can search for the specific details. So this is something that we have improved in our alpha version and will be released in the new the new cycle of the platform very soon. This will be that we have a user library in which the user can see the data sets as soon as they become available, right? So in this case, we have to manually let them know that this is the link for accessing the data set. Okay, so we have completed all the process of providing the permit. At the same time, the data holder is updating the permits on the premises to ensure that this user will be able to access. Then the user, when it reaches there, can go to the in progress here and check that resource is made available. Of course, an email has been sent automatically by our platform, and can copy this link and go to the actual page in which the data can be accessed. So this is the page that we use also already for the submission of the application, and there is one link that is access to the imaging data, right? Before the application it was not working, now it's working. So then we go to this page. This page is not on EUCAIM Central Services. We have jumped from EUCAIM Central Services to the data holder, right? This is the page of the data holder that describes the data set. And for example, you can have additional information, like in this case, we have the list of all the different body parts, additional ranges of data, and the rest. And what is more important, we have a DOI, so you can reference directly the data set in your publications, right? So you can go to Zenodo and see that there's the metadata is published there, so you can reference directly this information. Okay, so let's assume I will log in to get additional permissions for that. So I now, I can access. Again, this is the data holders. It's not the central hub. So, and this is the same user that we went there, and we are using the same credentials. There is no need to create a new account. It's the same IDP as the one that we used before. And I will create a virtual session to access the data. Again, think that this is more for data scientists. It's not for radiologists directly. And with my space, I see all the different applications. So I select, for example, this Jupyter PyTorch environment, which is the environment in which we can create AI models on Python and using PyTorch. So I will deploy. I will give a name. Let's give demo neuro B, which was the object, and I will copy the ID of the data set that I want to use. That is the one that is there. This is also being automated, so this is created automatically on the way. So I will deploy it, and then it will prepare the virtual environment. This is pretty quick because it uses I will say, high-end technology on the back end that supports very quick instantiation of virtual environments. So this environment is available in the data holder side. We don't allow downloading data in this specific case. You can only access this data through the secure processing environment that we had at this data holder. So I can click on the link, and then I can go to this new created session, so I can browse the data there. So the point is that I can only access the data that correspond to my permit. This is the data set. I can view, for example, the information in the view, detailed list view, right? So I can see the folders, and I can see the series with all the images. These are DICOM images, and I only have the information of the neuroblastoma dataset from Primage, not any other dataset that is available in this provider, right? Because the permit is restricted to this part. And I can use other tools. I have an environment for processing the data. I have notebooks that I can run. I have a batch system to run high-end computing systems, high-end computing processing, like training of AI models. If you want more information with respect to the secure processing environment, you can watch our other video there. So that was the main outcome of the platform. So you have seen all the process from discovering data, requesting access, up to actually accessing the data in our platform. So there are many other places, many other points of information, and I will point out to just a couple of them that we consider that are very relevant for that. So let me go to the dashboard back, and told you that there is a help desk system in which you can get support, but even you can get support if you are not a user of the system. If you have requested access and you don't have an answer yet, you can go to our help desk and put your question there, and we will be happy to pay attention and come you back with the answer. So that was all from my side, and thank you for watching.